What is up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Today we're going to take a deep dive into my camera gear that I'm hunting with in 2021 in the deer woods and how I'm getting it all out there. So stay tuned. All right, so I get a lot of questions, or I see a lot of questions from guys who want to film hunts say, how do I get all my gear out there in the woods? Or what bag or what pack system are you using to get all your camera gear out here? And somebody who's filmed hunts for the last, 12 plus years, I've got a fairly refined system. And while my gear has changed quite a bit over the years as far as what cameras I use and stuff like that, the overall scope of the system hasn't changed a great deal. So this year, one change I did make, when I say it hasn't changed much, but this is I went to a bino harness system from T&K, and I did a whole review on this. But one of the nice things about this is it keeps some of my hunting essential gear on my chest versus in my pack. Piece of camera gear that I've been using quite a bit in the last few years are action cameras, and this year's no different. This is a DJI Osmo Action. It's a couple of years old. I found it. I like the DJI Osmo Action and the Insta 361s way better than any product that GoPro has ever made, and I've owned almost every GoPro there is, and I finally ditched all my GoPros, and I hope to never buy an actual GoPro product again, but I am taking this. I love this. The stabilization's great. Allows me to get POV stuff. This little telescoping handle right here is great. We're walking in, you want to get some kind of footage of yourself or something else. Another cool feature about this is this little stand right here converts. So let's say I was turkey hunting in the spring. Now all of a sudden this can be my POV stand for out in the decoys. Or if I just need to film something on the ground for recovery or whatever, I've got this. So this is a handy little deal. This will probably be carried in my pocket at all times. That way I've got access to it. Just come out when I need some type of little action cam, POV stuff to do whatever. They're so handy. These things are great. Love them to death. They're like $200. They're super cheap. Good deal. Okay, so the constant question always is what pack? And everybody wants to know what hunting pack to carry your gear out to film for hunting. And my answer is none. I've been doing this a long time. I'm not saying that this is the ultimate pack or the only pack you should buy. I have yet to find a hunting pack manufacturer who actually makes a camera pack that is focused on camera gear and allows you to also carry just a handful of things when it comes to hunting. Now, I'm going to say all this this is for the Midwest whitetail hunter specifically in mind. The guy who's only going back, a couple hundred yards, maybe a half mile, maybe a mile back, whatever, to hunt deer. This is not your Rocky Mountain elk type of setup. I'm a deer hunter, so this is my setup. This pack here is made by Low Pro. Actually, this is the Low Pro Flipside 400 AW. They don't make this exact model anymore, but you can still find them on eBay. Since then, they've got the version 2 and the version 3. They're a little bit different. I've looked at the specs on those and looked at enough of them. I still like the original version, and I'll go over why. So one of the biggest things I needed when I first needed a pack to film my hunts was something I could carry my camera arm system on. Now I used to use the big muddy system with the big base, and I used this pack on it. I've been using this exact pack for 8 or 9 years now. And the beauty of the Low Pro is on the side here, both sides have a pouch and they have a strap system. And so I can secure my camera arm to this pack and it can go in here. Now back when I ran the muddy system, my arm would go on the side, and then a combination between this strap and this strap here, I would actually cinch that big base to it, and I would wind up all of the ratchet strap in this pocket over here. Since those days, I don't really use the muddy very much anymore, though I still have one. And so I use this pouch for the base and the cam over buckle system for my fourth arrow. I don't use their Talon base. I use the tree bases. I've done many videos on that system and why I use that system. Got a mosquito flying around my face here. Again, this arm is lashed over here to this side and it's secure. Comes out super easy and it's accessible. And then in this zip pouch here is where I can keep hunting gear, but I also keep my shoulder. It's readily accessible. It's right there. So there's the shoulder for it. In here, I can keep all kinds of things. Before I use the T&K pouch for my harnesses, I would take my hunting knife and put in there. Wind checkers, just all kinds of stuff can go in here. Okay, it's not overly big and overly deep, and it keeps things organized. It's got pockets here. You can see I got flashlights, a regular green flashlight, ink pens, note paper. In Indiana, when I tag a deer, we can use regular note paper. Another little pouch here. This is a little light I'm gonna go over on in a minute, but I can keep all kinds of gear in this, okay? So then where is the camera gear? Well, this is where the flip side of this comes into play and why I like it. It's against your back, and when I get to the stand, whether I am saddle hunting or hunting out of a stand, I can flip this thing around and face me. If I'm sitting in a regular stand, I can lay it on the seat and open this thing all up. And I can unzip this, and in here is all of my camera gear, all organized and ready to go. Flip these around so you can see. Everything's right here ready to go. There's memory card sleeves right here that I use for little odds and ends things. There's a zipper pouch in here. For example, I've got cables in here, different cables that I might need at some point in time. Probably don't need them all, but I keep them in there. That way I've got them, okay? So you flip this open, this whole thing can be organized in any way you want with these the standard dividers that you see in all camera bags. And I've rearranged this thing, I'll bet you 100 times over the years, depending on the equipment that I use. Back when I used to use a regular video camera, I would have it in here turned sideways with the mic on and all that. Now you use mirrorless cameras. All my gear can go in here. So what am I hauling? What am I filming with? Well, let's start with a few of the miscellaneous things here. Down the bottom, I like these LED panel lights. These things are amazing. This has got a rechargeable battery on it. It's these Sony style batteries. You can do, there's a zillion LED lights, don't spend a lot. This is like a $40 light. You flip it on, and these are awesome for tracking at night. You can adjust the power. Also, if it's dark and you need light to light up a scene, these things are great. But they're awesome for tracking deer too, seeing blood or whatever. It's great to have a light. You can never have too many. This stays in the bottom of my bag and is ready whenever I need it. I usually keep a spare battery or two in here for it as well. ND filters for my lenses. I like running ND filters on my lenses when I'm hunting. So I've got variable ND filters. These are Freewells. I got one's in a 67 millimeter, the other I believe is in a 72 millimeter for my lenses. These things are absolutely awesome. They're basically sunglasses for your camera. If you don't know what ND filters do, you can watch several tutorials on YouTube. Lots of people, camera guys, cover them. This is another one for another lens that I've got. So there's those. I'm going to jump upwards here for a second. And here's what I'm using as a POV camera in the tree. This is an Insta 360, the 1R. This has got the 1-inch model on it with a big Leica lens. Absolutely is an awesome camera setup. This has got their boosted battery on it. I love this. I love this camera so much more than a GoPro. The image is so much better. The stabilization's better. Everything about it's better. I can throw a 360 mod on this camera. Actually, I've got two of them, and this one right here is sitting here with a 360 mod. Sometimes it might go with me in a 360. I don't know. But primarily, this is going to be my POV. I've got this backpack clip on here that I can clip to about anything, and I can set this at any angle I want. I can spin it around. So if I'm saddle hunting, I can actually have this clipped onto the tether of my saddle, and I can point this at me. If I'm in a regular tree stand, I can clip this for, say, on my bow hanger and shoot down at me. There's a zillion applications in how this can be mounted. If for some reason the backpack clip doesn't work, I've got other methods of mounting, but this backpack backpack clip works in 99% of the situations that I get into with this. I also bring along just a battery. This is just, now this is taped up because I tape paracord on as a hanger, but this is just a battery that you would buy to charge your cell phones. That's all it is. I bring this along, I hang it wherever this is hanging, and then I plug this into the side of the camera, and now I can power this camera indefinitely through my hunt, and I can run this camera on a looping method and just loop the footage. So these, I never go anywhere without these. This is very similar to how I do my turkey hunts on the ground. Only on the ground, I'll be running 3 action cameras and 3 of these, and I'll be getting all kinds of POV at different angles, doing a loop, just running continuously. Nothing fancy. This is an Anchor brand or whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you get. They're all the same. I kind of like the size of this one. It's about the size of a wallet. It's good. It works great for my needs. All right, so let's talk about the main camera I'm running this year. Okay, I have upgraded over the years. About 4 or 5 years ago, I switched to mirrorless cameras by Sony, ran a Sony A6500 for a number of years. I still have an A6000 actually I use for photos for my job. But I had that, I had a A6300 briefly. I've had a full frame A7 III briefly. Right now I'm filming on an A7 C full frame Sony camera. It's kind of my B cam, but it won't go out necessarily hunting with me. But this is the big dog. This is what I'm hunting with this year. This is a Sony A7 S3. This is a film primary camera. A phenomenal low light, absolutely amazing image. You know, the whole flippy screen. Everybody wants to have a flippy screen. We got the flippy screen, the whole 9 yards. I love this camera. I filmed a couple turkey hunts last spring with it. I did film a deer hunt with it last fall. I absolutely am in love with this camera. So when I take this camera out, now the beauty of these cameras is the interchangeable lenses. So my lens options that I have are essentially unlimited. Well, within reason. Okay, I've got lots of options when it comes to running lenses. The 2 lenses I'm primarily going to run this year are the Tamaron 70-180 f2.8 lens. Okay, this lens is amazing. It came out a little over a year ago. It gives me the reach that I need as a bow hunter. In a tree stand, that 70 to 200 range is ideal. Now this is a 180, so I got 70 to 180. The 2.8 allows me to get great footage in low light, allows me to shoot a shallow depth of field if that's what I choose in my situation. It's just absolutely great when it comes to still images. You can get a lot of separation in your background. Wonderful lens. It sounds like it's too long bow hunting, but actually it's not. Even in a close situation, let's say you've got a deer at 10 yards below you and it's 70, that deer is going to fill the frame. It's going to look nice. It's actually is a great lens for actual hunting. Now, when it comes to shooting back at yourself, it's too tight. There's no way at an arm's length at 70 millimeter you're getting yourself in that shot. It would just be my eyeball and my nose. So in that case, I'm going to be able to pop that lens off. And this is what I used to do in the A6500 too, for those who don't realize. This is the Sony 20 millimeter f1.8 lens. This is an amazing lens, nice wide angle lens, relatively affordable for a prime. I think it was 800 bucks, something like that. Wonderful lens right here. I've shot a lot of video on it so far and a lot of photos on it. I shoot a lot of real estate photos for clients of mine with this lens and absolutely love it. This is going to be my up close when I'm doing stuff looking back at me in the tree, when I want wide shots or whatever. I can interchange between these 2 lenses. This lens is so fast it will literally see in the dark. Another feature that the Sonys have is clear image zoom, so I can actually zoom with this lens using clear image zoom a limited amount. It's like a 1.5 times, but it gives you a little bit of boost and reach if that's what you want. So again, I used to run a 2 or 3 lens combo when I had my A6500, and I really liked that a lot. And that combo works great. I'm pretty efficient at it. I keep the bag in arm's length at all times and can get to it. I have a 3rd lens. I may break out from time to time. It's what I'm filming on right now. It's the Sony 24 to 105 f4. It's a wonderful lens. The f4, you lose a little bit at low light. You don't have as much reach on the long end as what you do with the long Tamaron. So that's why it's probably going to stay back. I filmed turkey hunts with it this past spring. Loved it. It's a great lens. I filmed a deer hunt last year with it. It's a great lens. Microphones. I do have a wireless mic setup. I'm using it right now. It happens to be a Rode, the Rode Wireless Go. I like it. I've been using it for a couple of years now. It's a great mic setup. So it will go with me. You know, when I'm out hunting, it'll be stuffed down here in the bag. And when I need a wireless, I will. But my primary microphone is this Sony microphone. One of these, the newer Sony cameras, this did not work on, say, my A6500, but it does on the C and the S3, is through the hot shoe. It just goes on there and digitally, it takes the audio signal and runs it right into the camera and embeds it right there into the footage. So there's no wires, there's no anything. I got controls on here to customize my inputs on the mic. I love this microphone. I've been very impressed with it. Even in the wind, the Dead Cat does a nice job. It just, all around, it gives you a very nice audio. I like the sound a lot. So it's very compact. I love this whole setup. You know, that is essentially the camera though. This little light right here, I believe GoPro makes a very similar one, but this one's a lot more affordable and it doesn't have that stupid GoPro name on it. This is just, what is the name? Vijum, I think. I got this on Amazon and it's rechargeable and it's very small, very convenient. It's got like 4 or 5 different levels on it, different modes. And this is great. It's got a cold shoe so I can mount this to a camera. It's also got this little clip adapter. I can mount it, say, to a phone or side screen on the camera or whatever. And so this would be one of those nice little lights to have if you're doing a little interview or whatever and it's dark. It's a great tool. Again, you can never have enough lights when you're out hunting. So that is the basic rundown of my pack and my camera gear that I'm hunting with this fall. Again, I get a lot of questions on it. I'm going to show you one other thing too that I love about this pack, and I use this pack quite a bit, is since I started saddle hunting, my platform for my saddle, I actually carry right here on the back with this strap. So I basically take this and I run this through here and I run this through here. And when I'm walking out to the tree to decide where I'm going to hunt, that's hanging there on my back. I get to the tree, I can drop that off and throw it on my saddle as I normally would. I love that. Another thing that I do use this whole setup for is, let's say I was going to be ground blind hunting or in a box blind, I needed a tripod. It's got this little boot here on the bottom. I can take a tripod leg, stick in there, wrap this around the tripod and clip it, tighten it down, good to go. I always keep a bunch of S-beaners on here and stuff. You never know when you're going to have to hang something, especially if you're saddle hunting. It seems like you're always hanging stuff. Some type of S-beaner. This is one of those hero clips, I believe, which honestly I'm not the biggest fan of. It may be going away. I like these S-beaners best to hang my pack up wherever I'm hunting. So, wow. So that is kind of a deep dive into the gear that's going with me into the woods this fall. Again, the Sony A7 S3, the Tamron 70 to 180, and also the Sony 20mm, my 2 primary go-to lenses. So that's it. If you have any questions about specific gear, or you want to see something specific about my gear or advice on how to run something in this setup, please leave me a message down below and I will try and do a future video on that. So as always, God bless, stay safe. Deer seasons, thankfully, are right around the corner. And as always, it's a new day in the outdoors.